Wheeling Jamboree. In Wheeling, where I'm from, all the way up there on the northern panhandle, the Jamboree is an institution that has entertained listeners far beyond Wheeling, all the way up into Canada and all the way down south as well. On Saturday night, buses would line Main Street up and down the street, and if you couldn't hear the show live, you could listen to on the mighty signal of WWVA 50,000 watts all the way up into Canada.
Today, the Jamboree's heritage continues with live country music for Wheeling audiences on Saturday nights and to listeners over the airwaves of radio station WWOV.
Carol Lee Cooper is the daughter of West Virginia Music Hall of Fame inductees Wilma Lee and Stoney Cooper. They landed the top dollar sponsorship of Carter's Pills on the Jamboree in the 1940s.
Carol Lee grew up on stage at the Wheeling Jamboree and led the Grand Ole Opry's Carol Lee Singers for nearly 4 decades.
Joining Carol Lee to accept the award will be Darnell Miller, who joined the Jamboree in 1967 and is now the longest running member of the Wheeling Jamboree.
Please help us welcome Carol Lee Cooper.
It is so good to be back home in my home state of West Virginia. I was born in Wheeling, and it's always been home to me, and we meet so many of our entertainers here in West Virginia and also in Tennessee, and so many of them are West Virginians. They know what they're doing, and my mother and dad raised me on the Jamboree stage. And when I was a little girl, we came to Wheeling, and WWVA, as Molly was saying, reached out 50,000 watts, and it went clear up into the northeast states and into Canada, enabling us to have a fan base, my mother and dad, to have a fan base there that we could go and work and meet all those fans. I remember up north, they were such great country fans. Do you still find it that way today? Is it still that way up in the northeast? Yeah, I think they will. My mother and dad used to say also, even in New York City, they were big country music fans up there. And we don't think that there would be, but there really are. I know one day my mother and dad that came into the radio station, WWVA, and the manager asked my dad to step into his office. He said, you know, we're getting ready to give you some new PIs to read and try to get some, sell that. They sold everything from baby chicks to Bibles. And that was the day, that's the way you did it back then. And Paul Myers was the manager at the time. He said, Stoney, he said, do you think I should go with a flat rate and a guaranteed flat rate or percentage of what you sell? My dad said, oh, I'd go with the percentage. He said, I don't know, that flat rate is guaranteed. He said, well, it's your business, but I'd go with the percentage. The next week, Paul Myers came to his office and couldn't get the door open. He pushed on his door and pushed on the door, and it just wouldn't budge. Finally, somebody heaved and got it opened, and there were 2 big mail sacks, that tall, of mail for one day on those. I'm looking at those pictures over there. A lot of them are my family. Anyway, and I mean, it was just pictures of people sending things in. We want this, we want to buy them 10,000 baby chicks, we want to buy Bibles, we want to buy whatever they were selling. And I mean, we've got a publicity picture. When I was a little girl, I was sitting on the floor, and they, all the band was around us, and the floor was just covered in letters and requests to buy something that they were selling. And that's how well WWVA reached out so far with that 50,000 watts. And it made my family's career, it really did, and paved the way for me to grow up on the stage of the Jamboree. And I remember that as if it was yesterday, and they accepted me as a little girl. Some stages won't take little children in back then, but they did. And so I'm so grateful to West Virginia. They've been kind to me, and it's always a pleasure to get to come back. I got to come back for the 2008 induction of my mother and dad into the West Virginia Music Hall of Fame. And I'm just honored that I can bring in a man now that is getting ready to receive an award. And you know, the good thing about the Jamboree, it's still going on. It's still, bringing in more artists to continue the work. And so I am honored tonight to bring in a man who has spent 50 years in singing and performing country music. He even wrote a hit song called Hinges on the Door. He quickly got the attention of Gene Autry and the cowboy star on TV. And he ended up having Challenge Records, and he signed him to a record deal. And his career was just monumental. And I'm speaking of Darnell Miller. Please make him welcome tonight.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you very much. It's an honor for me to be here tonight. I want to thank the West Virginia Hall of Fame for the opportunity to work on this show. And I accept the award for the Jamboree in behalf of Dave Heath, who is the president now of the Jamboree, the general manager, and also the board of directors, who I won't bother to try and name them all, frankly, because I don't know them all. But we accept that Spirit Award and really appreciate it. Dave is in the audience tonight. Could we get him to stand up? There you go. But I also want to mention that in the past 5 or 6 years, we lost 3 of the stars of the Jamboree who were there. One of them was there even before I came on the Jamboree. His name was Roy Scott, and Roy has passed away. We also lost Jimmy Stevens, who was a part of the Jamboree for many, many years, and more recently, Leon Douglas, who was one of the great stars of the Jamboree. Anybody that ever came to the show and seen Leon, you'll never forget it. But he passed away last year, and so we accept the award in honor of all those folks too. And again, thanks to the West Virginia Hall of Fame for this honor. I appreciate it. Thank you.
It's a 2018 Spirit Award. That's quite a deal. We've got a song that the band and Molly O'Brien is going to sing, and the All-Star Band is going to perform.